Hello, welcome to the Joe Angelo Show. I'm Joe Angelo, and this is my first guest, Jared Shepard, paranormal investigator and photographer.
Hey, what's up, guys?
How you doing today, man?
I'm feeling pretty great. I got up like a few hours ago. I was excited to come here and do this because I haven't been on a show for about 4 or 5 months,
Oh yeah?
and like I get to go out, hang out with some friends, and then go film a concert tonight. So like I'm actually kind of pumped, even though it's still like really early in the morning
Who you going to see?
right now. I'm actually getting to film for a larger music collective that's out of Cleveland. It's
Hmm.
going to be like a rave and electronica concert that's going on at the Vortex up in Akron.
Oh yeah?
hmm
So is the Vortex like a big venue, kind of like an outside thing
So
going
I
on?
have filmed there a couple of times.
Huh.
It is a, I would call it mid-size
Okay.
venue. It's indoors, but their like production value is close to being like some of the places you'd see up in like Cleveland, like the House of Blues
Mm-hmm.
or like those type of venues, but it's smaller. And it's kind of cool that they're allowing the EDM community to perform there now because it used
Hmm.
to be, it wasn't strictly this type of venue, but it was mostly always just like deathcore metal or like
Hmm.
heavy rock or like occasionally maybe like a country act or something. So like it's kind of neat to see that my community that I'm like affiliated with up in Cleveland be able to move out of Cleveland a little bit and branch over Ohio.
Yeah, because sounds like the EDM scene could use to expand their horizons a little bit. Go to different cities, could kind of get the word around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean Cleveland's nice, but like unless you go to something like Lost Lands, which is out in Columbus,
Mm-hmm.
occasionally some shows in Toledo or Cleveland, a lot of the underground scene is there. It's really big,
Yeah.
but most places don't want to book them because of the stereotype of the EDM and rave culture versus how amazing the music actually is from that culture.
Yeah, they focus more on like the partying and the
Yeah, like
drug aspect
which
instead of the art form.
that's there. That
Yeah.
is there.
Yeah, yeah.
But the cool part is I'm affiliated with a few circles that are in that community.
Okay.
They're like, hey, party sober. Like you don't have to be high
Oh
on
yeah.
something to come here and enjoy these shows. And like, I'm not associated with this guy anymore due to like personal differences, but he wanted to start. So like they call it the bunk police.
Mm.
They're a group that they will show up at music festivals and raves, and their whole thing is like if you want to get sober, we can help you get programs to get sober. But
Oh.
if you're going to be doing drugs or substances at this show, we will check them for you. We will make sure you're taken care of. We'll make sure you won't die. And we'll
Oh
make sure
shit.
that like it's not something that's going to mess up your life if you're trying to get clean as well. And you won't get arrested for it. And they work for like recovery services and programs, but
Hmm.
it's literally like, hey, we don't want to see people out here die because if you're gonna do it, we don't want to see it like you guys die anyway.
So it's like you're all adults. You can do whatever you want. We
Yeah,
just want you to do it safely.
yeah,
And if you don't want to do it, we're gonna help you out. You know
yeah.
what I mean? That's
And
really cool.
we
Really
don't
fun.
have that in Ohio,
Yeah.
but it's popular in Michigan, it's popular in New York and Pennsylvania and out in California and Sacramento and like
Hmm.
San Diego. But Ohio doesn't have that community really.
Hmm. Yeah, 'cause like I've been when I was stationed in Texas, like I've been to a rave and it's really cool 'cause there's things to do. Like people put on those cool gloves and will give you a light show or like people dancing, everyone's taking photos with each other. And then it was a really like cool tight knit community that like
hmm
everyone was welcome in. And I think that if that could potentially spread around, then maybe people could potentially find, you know, another community they could be a part of and more things to do every once in a while. You know what I'm
Yeah,
talking
I'm
about?
just glad that it's starting to resurface in Ohio in a good way
Mm-hmm.
because used to you would have to go closest would be Pittsburgh.
Ah.
Most of the major community in this part, like near here, is up in Buffalo, New York.
Mm.
And then outside of that, you would be lucky if you can make it to like Michigan. I mean, we have the festival Lost Lands in Columbus, but you have to refinance your house to go to that. I was looking into going to that last year, and it's $3,000
Holy
for
shit.
ticket, 4 days, being able to camp or stay at a hotel, and all like the extra amenities. It's like $3,000, and they'll let you finance it, but like $3,000 for one 4 day concert, like I mean,
Yeah, that's kind of nuts. Like my stepbrother went. I think my stepbrother went to the one. I forget what it was called, but he literally camped out. He like people were setting up tents and everything, you
Mhm.
know. Um, but it's cool. Is the scene that's coming to Ohio more affordable and accessible than what you know like Lost Lands and stuff like
I've
that?
been to shows that are free just
Oh, sweet.
because the community's just sort of giving back to the community. But then most of the shows that I've been invited to by some of my friends that are like performers
Mm-hmm.
are typically like $20 to $40, depending on like
That's not bad.
what venue they're at and how many artists are performing, and sometimes the standards of the artists. But a lot of it, it's built off of different lead clicks. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's one that I follow called the Goff Wook Click.
Oh yeah,
There's like the guys that I'm going to be filming for tonight. They're called the Wubber Duck Collective,
that's
and
badass.
that's because their leader's name is Donald. But like they're just like small little communities that all sort of like love and hate each other.
Mm-hmm.
But these communities dictate different shows. They handle all the booking and everything, but they're trying to make it affordable for people that want to just go out, have fun, maybe do flow arts, which is what you were talking about with like lights and shit,
Mm-hmm.
and be able to just have a good time.
Yeah.
Which it's nice because I tried to go see an artist called Subtronics last year,
I think I heard of Subtronics.
and
Yeah.
the incident with the train derailment in Ohio,
Oh.
he canceled the show, and I lost $200.
Oh
That was
shit.
$200 to go see a couple hour show. Most of these shows they go on from like sometimes 6 till like 3 or 4 in the morning, sometimes 10 o'clock at night till like 6 in the morning, which
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine the lifestyle having to be a performer or someone that's one of the musicians that like spins for those having to be out till like 6 in the morning on a regular basis. But the fact
Yeah.
that you get a 6 hour show for like $25 and you get to meet people that are part of a like same community that love
Mm-hmm.
like art, music, um, and like just enjoy life is that's worth more than $20.
Oh yeah. Like that's a lot of value for $20, especially like because usually the people at the I've been to a couple of raves. Usually the people are really welcoming too. Like you're not like like you can look like anyone, you can be like anyone, you can just walk in, talk to people, and they'll really just let you hang out, you know. So
Mhm.
it's a really nice vibe at those places, especially if it's free or $40 or whatever.
It depends on where you go, but
Yeah.
90% of the time, yes.
Okay, cool.
I've met so many cool people, and I'm pseudo friends with maybe 5 or 6 different artists that are out of Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it was just easy enough to walk in and just start talking to people, and it just sort of snowballed into meeting cool people in the process like that, and like I never thought I'd talk to,
Yeah.
is amazing.
Hmm.
A lot of other communities, they're kind of like that, but they're also really clicky. So like
Yeah.
unless you look a specific way or do specific things, they're just gonna look at you like, oh, that guy's cool. That guy, like later.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that happening. Let's roll back to the inside. So you worked with the performers. Obviously, you know they're working long hours. They're doing this frequently. Um, so what kind of stuff, what kind of tasks do they have you do to make it easier on them? Uh, like do
With the type of work I'm doing,
mm-hmm,
I it's mostly freelance. I
freelance.
call it contractual work because sometimes I will form a like verbal agreement with someone on what they may or may not want from me.
Mm-hmm,
But most of the time, when I get connected with people that want me to film for them, they see the work I'm doing, they see what I'm already capable of, and
mm-hmm.
most of them just tell me like, just do whatever the fuck you want, because
Oh, sweet.
like we like what you do. You're obviously capable of knowing what to look for when you're doing this stuff. So we want to see what you come up with because we probably don't even know half of what we want from you to begin with.
Hmm.
Which it's not a bad thing, but like most of the time, like I've learned a lot of people that are underground, or even like some people that have like a larger platform don't have the practical experience with working with a film crew or people that do filming or like production because they've either not had the opportunity to,
Mm-hmm.
or they've just been lucky enough that someone that was there for someone else or for their own like personal like vlogging or journalism or some type of like internet forum happened to be there and they caught cool pictures of them and there's like, hey, look at these cool pictures I caught of you, would you like them? Most of them have never worked directly with photographers or people that do film unless they go out of their way to contract it or someone really wants to work with them.
Cool, cool. You're so instead of having to go to sorry, I almost burped. Uh, instead of having to go to a random guy online, they can look to you to do the tasks that you know that are acquired to be done or enhance the experience of this of their work, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, what kind of stuff do you, so you're a photographer, but you also work with film editing and vlogging and stuff like that. Do you do that stuff for these people as well?
Um, when I base it off of platform availability.
Okay.
If I have platforms that I can recommend people to, like show places they can go to get interviewed,
Hmm.
or places they can go to like perform, I can offer them that as like sort of an option. Like here's places to check out. Here's people to contact.
Oh, sweet.
But as far as what I do, if someone needs like an advertisement flyer for a show,
Mm-hmm.
or flyers that advertise their music, or like some type of graphic or image that represents their like brand, I
Yeah.
can provide that for them. If they need like someone to capture basic like photo or video content for them that they want to like repurpose, I can offer them that. At the same time, if they want me to do the editing for them, I also do that.
Mm.
As far as video editing, I have worked with two people that unfortunately they just sort of became demotivated,
Mm.
but they wanted me to help them work on a music video. And realistically, that's way more involved. It might take me a few months, but like
Mm-hmm.
I can provide that, but I got to make sure that the person's willing to connect or network
Yeah.
throughout it because like it can get exhausting. I have been overwhelmed about 5 different times where I've stopped like for a month just to take a break. But
I
yeah,
bet.
I just sort of consider it like I just consider it full service. But I'm just one person, so I can only take on so many tasks.
And that's where the networking comes in,
Yeah,
where you can
if I can
provide them with.
delegate it to someone else that I know is reliable, I
Mm-hmm.
will do that. But if I can do the work myself, I am more than comfortable doing that as long as I don't have too many things on my calendar.
Okay. So being a social media person isn't just about doing all the work yourself, but it's also about providing the necessary resources and connections,
Yeah,
networking to people who can.
the old school phrase of it's not what you know, it's who you know,
Yeah,
that does really apply when it comes to social media.
sweet.
But it's not about knowing people that can make you look better. It's about knowing the right people that you can collaborate with or network with
Mm-hmm.
to be able to make major things happen.
Okay.
And the cool thing about the creative community, doesn't matter if you're an artist or a performer or a musician or insert random creative talent here, 90% of them, unless they're way too invested in their image, just love the simple fact that they can make people happy
Mm-hmm.
and get a reaction from people and inspire good through what they're doing. I have a few friends that they perform maybe, or at one point they were performing 5 or 6 times a month,
Oh yeah.
and they were doing it for free. In fact, they were kind of losing money, and it wasn't because they were trying to make money. They just loved performing and they loved seeing people enjoy themselves, like dancing to their music or enjoying like the environment of them performing.
Yeah, they love what they
And
do.
they're more than willing, a lot of these people are more than willing to work with each other just because, like, fortunately, the arts community is underappreciated.
Yeah,
Like, it's even though it was always a joke, it's like, well, like, you want to piss off your parents, go to art school.
yeah,
For real though, like, there's no major backing for the arts community unless you're one of those ritzy people that throws shit at a wall and you get like millions of dollars in an art museum somewhere.
yeah, yeah. Breaking into the art industry is, harder for people who don't really have a way in or the resources necessary to get in. You kind of got to rely. Yeah, it seems like you kind of got to rely on your own skills and people noticing you and get gravitating uh, to you, uh, which may not necessarily. It's more like a force of will kind of thing,
Yeah,
probably, rather than I'm going to get something out of this kind of thing. Well, what you do, you get like uh, maybe like uh, emotional things out of it, like feelings and spreading feelings, but it's more about subjective stuff rather than material possessions when it
Hmm.
comes to the art.
Yeah, and it's a lot harder than it looks on the surface.
Yeah.
Um, this doesn't just apply to me,
Hmm.
but I tried to start a YouTube channel right out of high school. I
Yeah.
got maybe 2 years into it, no growth, just sort of gave up on doing it. Not really gave up on doing it, but quit
Hmm.
because it got just too much for too little return.
Yeah.
And then years later, now I'm using all the skills I taught myself trying to be a YouTuber to do this.
Hmm.
But when I finally started working for a media company for about a year, I got to the point where I was so busy and so overwhelmed, and it felt like I wasn't growing. It felt like I wasn't going anywhere or doing anything or like it didn't matter.
Hmm.
That I'm just like, what's the point in this? Like, why the hell am I stressing myself out to the point of shutting down for a few days for essentially nothing?
Hmm.
And it kind of taught me like not only is that sort of a subjective truth for every person that's a creative person,
Hmm.
but if you try to set a time frame for your expectations when you're doing something creative,
Hmm.
you're always going to be disappointed because it's not going to happen when you want it to happen. It's going to happen either when it's the right time for it to happen
Yeah.
or when the right people get involved. Good example, the guy that wants to contract me later tonight for this show. I met him back in October.
Oh
I
yeah.
didn't hear from him for a few months. I
Hmm.
thought he just sort of just pissed off because like, oh, this guy's cool, but he ain't really like much.
Hmm.
Just hit me up last Thursday. I was like, wait, what? Like, you want me to do what now? For like how much?
Hmm.
Like, yeah, like I really like your work. I've just been super busy. So I was expecting a specific time frame or expectations that didn't happen, but it still played out in my favor. Even though it's not necessarily that it played out in my favor, it's because I left an impact on someone, but the timetable I set for whether or not I had an impact didn't match up with reality.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's kind of what happens to anyone that's creative. You build your own expectations of what you think you should get out of what you're doing, and then you get disappointed by the results and you either give up or you just push through it, accept it, and keep moving on.
Hmm. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Because things don't just happen. A lot in with my experience with writing, like a lot of things happen if you just ask, and when you leave an imprint in people's minds, uh, it it doesn't just disappear, and it may pop back up at any time, and you'll never know. And if you worry and expect it to show up, like things aren't going to show up when you want them to. And if you accept that, I think that may make the artistic process a lot easier.
I think one of the most powerful statements I've seen recently is the seed was planted,
Yeah.
wait for it to grow.
Hmm. That
If
makes a
that
lot of sense.
impression is there, if you do what you can to make a good impact on people, whether you get anything out of it or not,
Hmm.
that little memory of what you did for them, that little memory of the fact that like, hey, this dude's pretty cool, or that chick's like really like laid back or awesome or something, that will stay there.
Yeah.
And whether you expect it or not, people will remember stuff like
Yeah. Let's see. Because oh, can you move a little closer to your mic?
that. Yeah,
Cool. Thanks. Sorry. So there we go. Um, when I was a good example of if you plant it, the seed will grow is when I was writing my script for my feature that I want to make or pilot. I don't even know what it is anymore. But like I started asking uh, legitimate filmmakers um, if they would check it out, and eventually they would actually get back to me and give me feedback, and that was really inspiring because I was talking to people who actually did the thing that I'm trying to do, and they were getting back to me, and that that left a big impact on me and inspired me to continue. Is so
I know exactly how you feel.
yeah.
I reached a point where I it's not that I was about to give up,
Mhm.
but I started struggling with, well, I'm doing all of this shit and nothing is progressing, nothing is happening. This
Yeah.
is a repeat of what happened back when I was trying to start YouTube.
Hmm.
And one of those turning points for me, even though like they'll probably never see this, I haven't been able to find them since then. I went to Colossal Con. I don't know if you know what Colossal Con is or not, up in Sandusky.
Is that an
It's
anime con?
it's basically Comic Con, but like Ohio's micro version at Kalahari Resort.
Okay, okay,
So like
yeah.
I went to that for 4 days. I spent that entire time sleeping in my car
Hmm.
because the hotel rooms were like $500 for the night. I was like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
But got to the point where I was running consistently on 3 hours of sleep a night,
Hmm.
running miles through a convention center. I had one of my friends that was a security guard there show me their step count because they were keeping track of it. They were walking 13 miles a day just patrolling
Oh God.
Kalahari. I was about to just say fuck it, pack up and go home. I
Hmm.
got to where my car's stationed because I was bipartisan rooming with one of the staff members that was at like the VIP lounge,
Hmm.
and I saw a bunch of people out in the field doing like nature shots, and
Oh,
these
sweet.
two these two sisters, they were dressed up as the sisters from Kill la Kill. They were doing like professional shots out in this field in front of my car, and I'm just sitting there watching them because it's like, oh, these two look fucking amazing for one. They have equipment. They had this camera that was probably worth $20,000.
Oh shit.
They literally walked up to me because they saw my camera bag and they're like, "Hey, can you help us? Like, you're probably not like we don't know if you're really that good or not, but like we need someone to get shots of us together
Mm,
because we don't have our equipment or stands or anything, so that use their $20,000 camera to take photos of them." And the one sister that I think was like their media manager,
mm,
the person that like handles all their content, looked at us like, these are really fucking good. I didn't expect that. Like this is
mm-hmm.
something you actually do professionally. It's like I'm trying to get into it, but it's still a work in progress. Like, well, you know what? I've been doing this for 5 years so far. We both travel in the United States. Like, we're lucky that we get paid probably $100,000 a year to do this. Um,
Mm.
you're as good as some of the people we've had for photograph us, and
Well, that's hard ass.
on top of that, like the fact that like you're just doing it with basic equipment, like don't give up on this. Like you're gonna make something out of this. And it kind of just made me not want to give up. And whenever I struggle, I think of that, the fact that someone that's done this professionally that makes like six figures told me that I was good
That's badass.
at
Like random people called on you for help when they saw your equipment. They're like, "Shit, man, this dude rules. Keep
it.
going, dude. That's
This
awesome."
guy probably ain't shit. Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like and cons are probably where you can make some bucks because there's people in cosplays looking to get shoots all the time. You know?
They have photography competitions at the convention I went to.
Oh, they did.
I had like I can show you this after the show, but like I had a whole series of like 60 people that wanted me to photograph them because I was just carrying around a camera.
Oh, that's badass.
But yeah, they do like little sections like all these different people from this particular game or anime can come over here and like you can do like shoots like shoots to like see who gets the best photo and win like money.
Hmm.
Um, I would have to be registered with the con to be able to set up professionally, but it's something I want to get back into because I that sort of taught me I like working with models and like people because I
Hmm.
can do more with the imagery.
Hmm.
And when I got in touch with these people after the con, I went out of my way to take like their cosplay image, take the background out, and put them in settings that match their character, so they'd have something cool from their convention.
Oh, that's badass.
I mean, they already have booth for that there, but that their concept of that was just like, let's give you a little basic like stars or like some random shit in the background of this. Like,
Hmm.
I actually went on my way because like there's a guy that looked like Zelda, I put him in a dungeon. There's a
Mm.
guy that looked like there's a guy that looked like I forget the character's name. He's like a stone dude. I think it's from like League of Legends or something.
Um,
But like I put him in a live recreation of a battleground scene from League of Legends.
maybe Galio. 1 second. 1 second. Intermission.
Did it freeze?
Died. All right. This podcast is now audio only. My camera has died. So,
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
yeah, it happens. I'll figure it out. First one. But anyway, we were talking about um the convention.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're taking pictures of different people and putting them in different settings.
Hmm.
Cool. So let's see.
I forget the character's name. My favorite one was this dude dressed up as I think it's from Demon Slayer. It's the guy that wears the pig mask. I can't think of his
Oh,
name right now,
I
but
think it's a
like,
Nosuke or
yeah, this
something.
dude
Yeah.
looked fucking amazing, and I ended up putting him in a purple forested area. It was like trees with like purple leaves and
Mm,
like a bridge, and it was an actual location. But like, out of all the ones I took, that one looks it's one of the best ones I
mm.
edited.
Sweet.
If you can't tell, I like this stuff.
That's all. Yeah, yeah. It's awesome. You're passionate about what you do. That's great. Like, 'cause that passion drives you to do a better job, and it's not like it's there's nothing like doing something you actually enjoy for like
Hmm.
a living or not. But
I realistically never thought I'd be doing this either.
yeah.
I started 2 years ago. The only reason I started doing it was because I met a chick that I started dating from New York, and she did a lot of photography for Buffalo's like nightlife scene.
Mm,
And one day we were hanging out, like the same day we started dating. Um, I decided to ask her like how she gets good shots
mm-hmm.
for like her own photography like thing. She was trying to start her own business,
Yeah.
and she started showing me how to do like triangulation and all these other different things and scenery.
Mm-hmm.
And I took like a few random photos, and she looked at it and was like, "You have this figured out without me even having to tell you.
Mm,
You just didn't recognize it." And this is someone that went to college for 4 years to do it professionally. I was like, I didn't think I was that good. I just like to take pictures of like plants and shit and like nature scenery because it's like peaceful. And
mm-hmm.
like, no, you know, you have a natural knack for this. You should do this. And ever since then, I just like started doing it. I eventually got in contact with a former friend that I hadn't seen for a few years. He was with a media group. They pulled me in for about a year.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since then, it's just like, this is something that it's not that I have to do it, but I can't wait until someday I can make this my full-time job, or at least something that I can invest most of my time into.
Yeah, 'cause when you have a natural knack for something that can also be a living, then that's a raw deal.
Yeah.
Like there's no.
And I was always the type, I don't want to turn my hobbies into work because then I wouldn't like them anymore. Like, no, this it doesn't feel like working.
Mm-hmm.
It really doesn't feel like working.
Yeah, that's like there was a saying, but I forgot what it is, so I won't say it.
If you love
But
what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
yes, that's it. That's what I was saying. Yeah, that's sweet. But let's see. So you're a member of the White Sage Paranormal Investigation Group.
Yeah, I'm actually a co-founder.
Oh, co-founder.
Me and three of my other friends that I'm currently living with, uh, we were all hanging out one day. Like, so we're all spiritual people.
Mm-hmm.
My friend see ghosts. Like, I can't see from their perspective what they're saying, but like if any of you have like whatever your belief is in the paranormal, I have actually seen ghosts. I don't know why they want me to see them. They're usually shadows,
Mm-hmm.
but we started having all these conversations about like, well, wouldn't it be fun to like, since we can see these things, since we can kind of interact with them, wouldn't it be fun if we started like doing proper investigations and just like form our own little four-man team
Mm.
to go out and like go ghost hunting randomly because it's fun.
Yeah.
And then somehow that snowballed with me being our film guy and our social media guy, creating our own page, creating our own chat forum. At one point, we ended up having 15 people in our group
Oh shit.
after only starting it for like maybe 2 months. And
That's pretty
we
crazy.
didn't expect that at all. It was just supposed to be us four doing our own little thing.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to the point where we hosted a like live event in I think September or October of last year and had like literally 15 people show up to go out with us to investigate the old Sandy Valley or Sandyville Cemetery,
Mm.
which that was a whole experience on its own. But
Oh
yeah,
shit.
yeah. So a lot of those members they've come and gone because of own personal life issues, but
Yeah.
um, So far it's been a cool experience. We've had people want us to investigate their houses. Like
Hmm.
some of our people are into practical witchcraft, but they use it to like help people that are like plagued by like spirits or like their house is haunted. Like we can help go in and like get these things out if they're harming you or your family, or
Hmm.
make you at least aware of what's here. So if you no longer accept it as a threat, it like 'cause it's weird how you'll see a lot of people like, oh, this ghost's been here, like that this happens, like that thing fell out the wall over there. Yeah, another day. Like some people when they're terrified of it, it makes them feel like they're in an environment that's unsafe. But something that's not trying to hurt them, it just likes to like fuck with their house.
Hmm.
We've actually helped a handful of people be more comfortable with the environment to where they were about to sell their house. Now that ghost is kind of just their like random roommate that they can't see that just like causes chaos every once in a while and scares their guests.
That's sweet. That that's awesome. I I kind of have something like that in my script where he's a paranormal investigator and a ghost gets inside his TV and it's a little girl and he just like gives her teddy bears and snacks and shit. So like it
7 days.
yeah, I did steal that from The Ring. So like no, no cap or whatever
No,
they say.
so hey, there's no such thing as originality. Originality comes from what you do with something that's already there that's different. And
Yeah.
it doesn't even have to be different. It's your own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Things can be inspired by things without being rip-offs, you know.
I have had so many instances where I thought I was doing something original, and I'd look it up online. There's another version of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Made me do some research. Like, is there any such thing as originality anymore? Really, there's not.
I mean, I'm doing a podcast, so.
Absolutely nothing is original anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of feeling like everything you do is a copy of something, I've learned to accept that it's my version of what I like about something that I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
not based off of something that's already there, but how I personally feel about it, how I interpret it, and what I like about it. Because at one point I almost decided to not even create anything because it's like, well, if I fucking look this up online, it's already there. What's the point?
Yeah, because if you try to make something no one's like ever conceptualized before, then like what are you gonna do? You know, like that'd be very
If
hard.
you build it, they will come. People will like your specific brand of what you're doing, even if it's something that's already been done before or is already
Mm-hmm.
there because they like you or what you're doing with it.
Yeah.
A lot of YouTube personalities, most of their fan base comes from the fact that they like the person that's doing it. Like
Mm-hmm.
I like Markiplier,
Yeah.
Jacksepticeye,
The
Like I used to like PewDiePie. He's still kind of chill, but like
PewDiePie's just a goofy dad now. I
dude's
like
just
him.
the OG.
Yeah.
But I never watched any like I like to see the video games they played because like for me it saved me money on whether or not I wanted to play games.
Mm-hmm.
But anymore I check in with some of these YouTubers just to see how they're doing because I like their energy. I like the way they interact with their audience. Like some of them are funny. Like me personally, I really like Jacksepticeye because he feels like someone that I'd probably just kick it with and like get some drinks or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's where the community comes from with anything you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
People that like you, they will like you for what you do, how you carry yourself, more so than what you're creating. That's just a bonus of something to entertain you.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because one one thing that I this is kind of a guilty pleasure of mine, but I watch YouTube drama videos. I watch, you know who Turkey Tom is?
Yes.
You know, I love Turkey Tom. Shout out, Turkey Tom, give me a plug. Anyway,
I used to watch a lot of grade A under A.
oh man, that guy was nuts.
You fucking what, mate? It's fucking stupid. You're being stupid on the internet. Why? Oh, shit.
Fucking or fucking Leafy. He was a 37-year-old man.
I'm not gonna cap. I actually do like Leafy. I hate that he got himself or bipartisan got into all of his controversy that took him off the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude used to be one of my favorite people to watch just because he was just always so fucking chill about the way he would tell stories or like drama or deal with like everything on the internet. Like, I think a lot of people did him dirty because he's just
He
a human. But
well,
I also don't agree with his controversy. Like I don't agree with like you should know better, you should do better. That's my philosophy. You should like not
I
put
mean,
yourself in a position where you get fucked. but
Yeah, he did some things that may or may not have been questionable, like I like making fun of that autistic gentleman, but I'm not sure if he knew or not, but whatever, you know. But he did have a nice flow. He was funny, you know.
it's the same issue whenever we had that mass cancel culture. Like Jenna Marbles is no longer a thing,
Yeah, I
and it's because of something she did years ago. Shane Dawson, he's he's kind of eh. I liked him when he first came out because like it was when shock humor was still popular, but they got people fucking with him a decade and longer after like he created content that was acceptable at the time because it's no longer acceptable.
hmm
Same with like Jenna, same with all these other YouTubers. Like, no, don't even get me started on Amnesia. That guy can fuck himself. But like for real, there's all these people. Like, is nobody allowed to have a platform where they can be forgiven for the times they existed in? Like, if you've actually changed the way you operate because it no longer fits what's socially acceptable, why should you be crucified for something you did at a time when it was? If you've proven you've actually changed the way you operate or the way you carry yourself.
I agree with that sentiment.
If you're
I
still a shitty person, then yeah, that's no there's no debate there.
like
But if you've learned and grown like a real person does, you should be held accountable for your past mistakes,
hmm
but you shouldn't be like completely forced off of everything and all of your hard work because if you're no longer operating that way.
yeah, like some like the main thing that I have a problem with, and I had a problem with is like the racial stuff that Shane Dawson did. I thought that was like, unacceptable the whole time, but like the thing is like the difference between Jenna Marbles and Shane Dawson when it came to blackface is it seems like Jenna Marbles actually realized what she did was bad and Shane Dawson didn't, and that's my
Shane
opinion on the thing.
Shane was trying to argue the fact that because it was acceptable at the time, it was okay when that really hasn't been acceptable since the 20s, if not
Yeah.
earlier. With Jenna, I fully believe she thought she was playing a character for a bit and
Mhm.
didn't even put that much time or effort into like realizing all the background behind it because like she literally went on the internet like crying saying like look I'm just gonna take myself off because I really fucked up and I'm not okay with the fact this happened because I didn't have the concept of how bad what I was doing actually was and how much that was affecting people because that's not the kind of person I chose to be. So
Mhm.
I'm just done. It's gone.
Yeah, I like
They didn't force her off the internet. She just quit.
yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Like but you can tell it's kind of a slippery slope because like you wish she kind of didn't go, but you can tell she's truly genuine because she did go. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And that's and it seems like Shane Dawson kind of made an apology whenever he has like a film coming out or something like you know what I'm talking about.
I took myself off the internet for 2 years. Here's the story of why I fucking hate my life and why I'm doing better now. Oh, remember that stuff that happened? Let's not worry about that anymore. I'm getting married. I'm about to have kids with my husband. Want to
Oh
watch our podcast? This is my cousin Jared and like my husband and my friend and like wait, that thing that happened 2 years ago? We're not gonna talk about that. Nope.
well, I'm sure Shane will be a good dad. You know, like I'm sure he'd be a nice dad. But anyway, let's see what else is going on. We're hitting 40 minutes without any dead air. That's pretty good.
Is there anything else you would like to know about like our paranormal group? Like, would you like me to share some of our weird experiences or
Oh
anything?
yeah, man. So do you do you use equipment to capture things on
We are
camera?
slowly building up our equipment. So I use so my portable workstation has always been my cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
Most cell phones operate like high-end laptops anymore.
Yeah.
I can do everything that I'm doing currently with my photography and filmography with my phone. I would rather at some point I'm trying to invest in a proper camera. I want to get like a TI6 Rebel because
Hmm.
they're down like it's one I'm familiar with. They're good quality, but they're down to 300 opposed to 700 now.
Oh.
I also want to get a one of the newer Chromebooks, but a lot of that it's waiting for waiting for the like hobby itself to generate enough money on its own to be able to do that.
Hmm.
Everything I make off of doing it, I reinvest into it. But when we go out and do investigations, I have a full equipment setup that's effective, but can fit in a little camera bag that I can carry with me to set up like different shots, different locations. A lot of our equipment, we do have physical equipment like EVP recorders. We have a laser grid light. So like if you've seen in like some investigation shows where they have like a bunch of dots in a room so they can see something moving through the room, we have one of those.
Hmm.
We have dowsing rods. We're trying to get a full spectrum camera. I kind of want to just get an old camera and convert it because it's basically the simple matter of swapping out the cam's filter.
Hmm.
But outside of that, we have a lot of our own equipment on our phones. I
Okay.
don't trust applications.
Yeah.
I have gone through about 50 trying to find ones that work. There's one called GhostTube.
Hmm.
They have 5 different apps. I find them a little bit yes and no, like, but they do have that system where if you've seen the thing where like people use Xbox Connects to like grid map images or shapes that look human,
Okay.
it actually has a grid point map for that app that actually works.
Huh.
Like I've tested it by like pointing it at different people, pointing it at drawings of people, it'll actually grid that out.
And it would grid out like, different shapes
Yeah.
that the ghost would make like
I've seen
shadows and stuff.
I've seen human shapes pop up in dead space. Like there's nothing there, there's no objects in the background that could form or could confuse as a thing,
Hmm.
just like open space.
Oh shit.
Sometimes even a blank wall. And the creepy thing is that this would happen while we were trying to talk to something that was
Hmm.
apparently communicating with us, and it was corroborating itself with what we were seeing.
Awesome.
But the hard part is you always have to be a skeptic.
Yeah.
You can't just assume that everything you see or every little knock or bump or like gust of wind or like temperature change or anything is actually something it could be unless you explain everything else away. The
Yeah.
only times I've not been able to do that is when I have actually felt things touch me or have actually seen things like right up in my face or have actually had things audibly talk to me.
Like things you can use your senses to actually comprehend rather than things happening and there could be another reason. Like for an example, when I was a kid, the attic door would slam shut, but the window was open. So like
Yeah.
stuff like that. So let's see. What kind of stuff have you seen? Like any?
So I'll tell you like 5, maybe 6 experiences because a lot of them are just really short.
Sure.
I'll leave the longest one for last.
Okay.
So when I was younger, I used to. So my family's house is near a cemetery. It's
Yeah.
less than a block away. I learned that they like to visit the people near there occasionally. I've had things pass through my house. My grandmother so my family, like I don't like to use the word psychic
Hmm.
because psychic's kind of a blanket term for just being able to have a different type of perception that some people do and don't have.
Yeah. My aunt uses spiritually sensitive.
Yeah, I've been able to see things walk through my house that weren't there. One of
Mm.
the weirdest experiences I had with that is right after my great grandfather died. I went to a convention and I wore a hat that he used to wear daily to
Mm.
this convention. And I met some people that were at this convention that used to work with him because he was like helped operate the organization when he
Mm.
was alive. And when I went back to my house, um, took his hat off, put it on my bedpost, laid down, was getting ready to go to sleep. All of a sudden, I felt like I couldn't move
Mm.
while I was watching TV, and I'm thinking like, okay, like maybe I'm having sleep paralysis or falling asleep. Next thing I know, I see like a white mist come up over the edge of my bed, go across my legs, and out towards my window. I'm
Mm.
just like, what the hell was that? Like, am I really having sleep paralysis right now? But I realized, no, I just felt something and I couldn't move temporarily because I was scared. I
Mm.
didn't realize it. I started moving again. I turned and looked over at my the blinds on my window, and I saw my great grandfather's face in the window, just looking at me, like smiling. And I'm like, oh shit! So
Oh.
like, I was like 15, 16 at the time, so I just like hid underneath my covers, like, look, I know who you are, but whatever you're trying to do, like I love you, but I need you to leave because it's scaring the shit out of me right now. I like look back out, like it's gone.
Hmm.
Um, I thought that maybe again it was just like sleep deprivation or just something. I
Hmm.
can't. I've never been able to find a way to explain that. Another experience I had, I was by myself walking through the cemetery in my town. They have a little mausoleum. So you know the mausoleum, like because you used to be in Strasbourg. You know the
Yeah.
mausoleum that's at the cemetery.
Yeah, I remember that thing.
That place is haunted as fuck. That
Really?
place is fucking haunted.
Oh shit.
I don't know. I haven't been able to properly sort this out yet. I want to take my team there to investigate it, but I
Hmm.
was told on multiple occasions during spirit box sessions that there's a demon that resides in there, and I believe it because 5 years ago I was talking to my friend that is one of the people we run the group with on my phone at like 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning because sometimes I just walk around town with insomnia. I sat down on the base of the staircase that leads up to this mausoleum, and I'm just like, you know, it'd be funny, dude. Like, we both believe in ghosts. Like, do you want to see if you can try remote viewing to like see if there's anything here? And like, I just wanted to see if he could see where I was sitting or doing. Like, I'm kind of questionable about like astral projection and shit like that.
Hmm.
All of a sudden, I feel like something was staring at me. So I look behind me, and in the doorway of this mausoleum, there's a outline of a person that's just a black figure. And
Oh shit.
like, I made eye contact with it because it didn't have eyes, and I just like I felt every single neuron and nerve in my body just like flare up, and I'm like, "Oh, hi. I'm not here to bother you. I'm just chilling. Like, I wish you peace. I'm just gonna sit back down here." Next thing I know, I feel like I'm about to faint,
Mm.
and I'm thinking this thing came up to me to try and sap my energy because there's no electricity in that cemetery.
Oh god.
So my friend's just like, you know what? You need just to go. You just need to go. So I went home. About a year later, I was driving home past that same cemetery, and um, when I was getting closer to the cemetery, I thought I saw someone in black jogging pants and a hoodie walking down the middle of the street, getting ready to cross over to the other side of the street.
Mm.
I'm just watching this guy because like, okay, I'm gonna have to slow down because this guy's just like walking around. He's probably drunk or something, so he can like, get across the street because I don't want to hit somebody. When I start slowing down, all of a sudden I felt like I couldn't like my vision got blurry for
Mm.
some reason for like 2 seconds. When it cleared up, there wasn't a person there in the middle of the road. There was a black cat, and it just continued right where the person was standing across the road up to this house.
Oh.
I knew the people that owned the house,
Huh.
so I asked my family when I got back to my house, like, "Hey, did something happen with the couple that lives in this house down here by like this location?" They're like, "Well, 3 months ago, like the husband of that family passed away."
Mm. Oh man.
Yeah.
It's one hell of a connection.
Then I have this I have one I could tell you, but I don't want that on recording to protect the privacy of one of my friends. But it's probably one of the creepiest things ever. I more or less saw a Wendigo or Skinwalker that was attached to one of my friends.
Oh, you don't gotta tell anything you don't want to tell,
I'm just
man.
gonna say that I have seen a Skinwalker or a Wendigo, one or the other. I haven't been able to sort it out. Them things are fucking. They're weirdly creepy looking, but also very pretty at the same time. If that's strange to say
No, I can understand that.
that.
You know.
But I'll tell you about the investigation that our major group had at the Sandy Valley Cemetery.
Hmm.
So we started the investigation, pretty standard. The story of the cemetery is that they had to move it when they relocated the town, and it's because they're built on a floodplain. So the town used to be located in an area where half the town would flood all the time because the people that did the zoning for it were stupid. They didn't know how to properly zone for it. They didn't do all the necessary work to make sure this wouldn't happen. And it was bad enough that the cemetery was in direct floodplain zone. So like the cemetery would be underwater for weeks at a time if there was a lot of rainfall. To
Hmm.
the point where slightly newer and or brand new graves, the coffins would just float up out of the grave and then float down the river, and they'd lose the bodies of these people.
Oh shit.
And that, including the fact that the town hall was located in a location that was part of the floodplain, they basically paid everybody to be able to relocate the bodies of their buried loved ones while they were really relocating a city. But they couldn't relocate all of them because most of the families couldn't afford to do so. So there's like two different cemeteries. There's one that's overgrown with trees now,
Hmm.
where there's still bodies there, but they haven't moved. And then there's the cemetery that's there now, where they have like maybe 20 or 30 people or more buried there, but the bodies aren't there. Like it's just headstones to represent
So
that the people
so
were
there's
there.
random dead bodies just floated in random places.
Yeah,
That's
yep, straight up. It's like you go you could have like mass on Sunday, bury like Uncle George or something, and then
hmm
if it rained, 2 days later you could go back out to visit the gravesite, and like all of a sudden you just see a coffin floating out of it. Like, oh, bye. Okay, bye, man. Like,
uh,
sorry about
bye, Mr. Johnson.
that. But no, apparently there's a witch buried there or something.
Huh.
But that's relevant because when we were there investigating, um, I gave one of our team members my cell phone to use my spirit box, which I heavily recommend it if you want to check it out. It's called Necrophonic. I have gone through about 50 different types of paranormal apps because most of them are just bullshit and like either pranks or just ways to prank people.
hmm
That's one of the only ones I've found that's actually legitimate. So this thing works with phonetic sound. So like ah, eh, ooh, or like consonants,
Yeah.
but it's mixed in different languages.
Oh.
And it can string together words from those consonants. I've had instances where things have actually just talked to me through this, and there's no way it should have worked like that because it just sounds like a bunch of like da da di da di do da like there's no way something should be like, hey, how are you doing?
Oh shit.
Yeah, let him walk off with this. We all branch out to different sections. There's a section that has 2 gravestones and 4 trees surrounding those gravestones because it used to be a building. They just used the
hmm
trees to mark it. When we were scoping it out a week beforehand, my friend that can see them, her name is Cece. She said that she's had experiences there where she felt like she was attacked, where she felt like her friends were attacked by these things. She saw like shadow people walking through these trees. So I decided to go over there and just see if anything would happen. So while I'm standing there, I see this little shadow, like a ball, like about the size of a beach ball, on the ground in between 2 of the trees next to these gravestones.
Hmm.
And me and this other dude that's holding my recording equipment, we're just looking at this thing like, you see that, right? And I'm like, he's like, yeah. Like, shine your flashlight over there. I want to make sure it's not my eyes because it's dark. Because like you're seeing it too, but it could just be because it's dark. Shine a light over there. There's nothing there. Turns the light back off. There's still a little beach ball shaped black thing there.
Hmm.
So I just like, okay, noted. Um, that's weird. See if you can take a picture of it. Take 3 pictures. Nothing there. Still there. So I just figured, fuck it. Like, I don't know what to do with this. I don't know if this is a thing or not. We just go back to meet up with our group in the center of the cemetery. Next thing I know, the guy that I was with that I gave my spirit box to comes back and he's like, here, take this. I'm going to wait. I need to check something out. There's 3 sections in that cemetery where it has like a 4 trees because it used to be a bunch of again, it used to be a bunch of buildings. They're just marking the foundation. He goes over to this section of trees, just looks around for a second, and nothing. Comes back and I'm like, what was that about? He's like, well, when I was over there, this thing kept saying 4 trees, 4 trees, 4 trees,
Oh.
4 trees. I'm like, hold on a second, come with me. So I walk back over where I saw this little beach ball shadow thing. Go over there with my recorder, with my spirit box, and I'm like, is there someone here? Yes.
Oh.
Was that you I saw here earlier? That little like shadow in front of me? Yes. Are you the one that was telling my friend here about the 4 trees? Yes, I was. Like, okay.
Oh shit.
Do you need me to stand where you were located if it make it easier for you to communicate with us? Yes, please. So I walk over where I saw the shadow. All of a sudden, it felt like my entire body was electrified. Like if you were to like to touch like an outlet, like an outlet, like get zapped.
hmm
My entire body felt like that. And I'm holding the spirit box. It feels like I'm like slowly like about to pass out or something. It's like you and your friends need to leave now.
Oh.
We don't want you here. And if you don't, I will I will kill every single one of you.
Oh shit,
And it's
dude.
like like it was that clear. It was that clear. It shouldn't. There's no way that app should work like
Like
that.
it
It
broke the
literally
rules
it
up.
literally said in plain English, "Get the fuck out of this cemetery. I will kill you all." And I'm just like, what? They're like, you're first. So I look over to my friend Cece. And I'm like, hey, you need to come here right now. I told her what was said. She's actually she's practiced witchcraft for 40 years. She's
hmm
technically a high priestess of a coven. She started saying like a few different like esoteric prayers and shit to try and get this thing to go away so that we could leave. We stood there for about 10 minutes just praying and trying to get this thing to go away because like we thought like, oh great, this thing's gonna try and hurt our friends, hurt our people. Um, You feel it leave because it stopped feeling like I was about to pass out. We look at everybody. It's like, hey guys, not gonna say much, but let's go to this other location right now and leave. It's not safe to be here anymore. So we left. As we were walking out of a tree line that heads to the cemetery from the main road, I look behind us. It looks like this 20-foot tall stick figure, like a shadow thing. It's like walking along the tree line to follow us out of the cemetery.
Oh shit.
We haven't gone back, obviously.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
But that's that's probably one of the craziest experiences I've ever had while doing any kind of investigation anywhere, like anywhere.
Yeah.
Um, and most of it was caught on recording. Some of it was filmed, but most of it we have like audio recording of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you get the guy talking to you a little bit?
we had it on film.
Yeah, on film. Okay. Cool.
I've kind of learned that certain things like that they have a habit of disappearing.
Yeah, it's hard to get concrete proof of spiritual things.
I think that some spiritual entities, if they don't want to be seen badly enough, they will fuck with your technology to make it disappear.
Hmm.
I used to have a photo of a handprint on my mirror at my one of my friends' houses because one of my friends claimed that they had a demon attached to them since they were a kid.
Yeah.
So I tried to work with them on like different things they could do to like either make it go away or things they could do to get help. It didn't like it, so it followed me back to my house. And I took a shower, got out of the shower. There was a dry handprint that looked like it had claws at the end of its fingers
Oh
on my
shit.
mirror. And I took it to one of my friends that was a uh, Celtic druid and asked him about it. And he's like, just telling you to fuck off. You can't do anything.
Oh,
Like just no,
okay.
just so nonchalantly, like it's just telling you to piss off.
Uh,
But I had that photo on my phone for like 4 months. And I was showing it to my friends because it's like this is the weirdest thing I've ever captured. One day it was just gone. I didn't delete it. I had
hmm.
it saved on 4 different devices, just completely gone.
Hmm. That's weird. Cause like sometimes I think so my theory is like how can a spirit know what like a phone is? You know what I mean? Like if a spirit is like uh, died before phones were made. So basically, my theory is that spirits may be able to, like warp reality itself. You know what I mean?
I've always held the theory that it's energy.
Yeah.
It is energy. They absorb energy. They use energy to manifest and like all that good shit. I think that not only do demons, shadow people, human spirits, animal spirits, all these different things exist, but it's just a different plane of reality that we have access to once our what's whatever makes up our consciousness and our like spiritual being
Mhm.
is free from our body.
Hmm.
Same thing with like astral projection. I feel like you can actually like there's actually studies that have been done on this, but I feel like you can actually project your consciousness into different realities and different places, and you can actually go there.
Hmm.
One of the coolest things I've seen recently. So like, you're a fan of Joe Rogan, right?
Yeah, I like Joe
You know how
Rogan.
he's constantly like, "Hey, bro, you ever done DMT?"
Yeah.
There's actual studies being done in college, like colleges like Harvard and Oxford and shit right now, where they're putting people on IV drips of like enough DMT to put them in that sort of like headspace
Yeah.
because there's theories that it's an actual secondary dimension that your consciousness has like access to, and they're trying to find a way to map it out because of how many shared like this actually corroborates with all these other people saying the same thing about this space. They're
Yeah.
considering a real secondary dimensional space now.
Yeah, because Joe Rogan and other celebrities have talked about encountering entities during DMT or ayahuasca trips.
Yeah,
You know?
I think the same thing applies to spirits. What if
Yeah.
that plane is also the same plane that these entities or these like beings or these energy things exist upon?
Yeah.
And that's why they can interact with us, interact with different dimensions. They can fuck with technology. They can fuck with like spatial things. They have understandings that we don't have of
Hmm.
the world. I think that the theory behind us being limited to our bodies is a real thing. I
Yeah.
think that this is just a limited experience where once you're gone, you have access to everything.
Yeah, that could make sense. Yeah. See.
That's a little bit out there.
No, man, no, it's great. It's great to think like that. Having different perspectives of how things could work or what's going on it's truly a great thing, and I think more people should, open up their minds to things like that. You know what I mean? Like,
I only share this with people that like get to know me well, but I'm actually a shaman.
oh, cool.
I found like it's kind of a dumb reason that I got into it. I found out that my family had Native American history, so it's like this is my way to sort of keep that part of my family history alive.
Okay,
But I found out that shamanism exists in every single culture. Like it's like witch doctor, you're fucking like the town, the town crazy person,
they're just called different
the town
things.
medicine person. And then I found out my family's Celtic. Like I
Oh,
did an ancestry test. My family's actually like I can trace my like lineage back to like Finland and Norway and the actual like Vikings,
oh, that's
like
sweet.
Viking communities. So I don't believe in everything that spirituality has to bullshit at you, but
Hmm.
I've learned through that process that every religion, both like modern day ones, ancient ones, all these esoteric practices, magic, it's all psychology.
Hmm.
And the more I study the differences of like, for instance, like sacred geometry, people that like, oh, your spirit, you're like, you have an energy field around you. Everything's energy interacting with itself. You can feel this vibe. You can feel that vibe. There's actual science now that backs that up as a real thing.
Oh yeah.
It's just a different interpretation of what ancient cultures have believed for centuries.
Hmm.
Like, it even fits into quantum mechanics, the nature of how particles interact with each other.
Yeah.
That goes back to the theory that like I can feel your energy. We're all different frequencies. We're all different wavelengths. We're all different vibes. That's actually they're the same. It's just a different either hippie-ish or archaic way of looking at it.
Okay.
A
Yeah.
lot of witchcraft is not actual magic. It's just a type of psychology. It's you convincing your brain to operate using what's called the placebo effect
Hmm.
in more ways than just for medical purposes.
So, so kind of like thinking something can like materialize it into reality, kind of.
Yes
Like
and no.
in your own mind at least.
Is the best example I can give people that are new to the concept. You ever run a marathon or like have to get away from something, have to do something, you get to the point where you're about to fucking like, I fucking feel like shit, like you can do this, you can do this, you can do
Yeah.
this, you can do this. You're actually retraining your brain and like forcing your brain to be like, you know what? I've got this.
Hmm.
And you can apply that to literally anything.
Okay.
And it's the same thing with how you can trick your brain into thinking, oh, I took this medication, it's just a sugar pill, but it worked.
Hmm.
It's that.
Yeah.
It's like applying that effect that your brain naturally has to motivation,
Mhm.
changing your life, improving yourself,
Yeah.
helping other people. But it works because it's just a function the brain has that not a lot of people are either aware works or it's information that we used to have that we don't have anymore.
Hmm. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Cause like I think I experienced that before. For example, like during our uh our I think it was like 20K ruck marches in the army. We would go uphill, and after a while, you were just doing it. You know, like
You didn't even think about it anymore. You just
no,
had it so ingrained into you it became natural.
hmm
It
exactly.
almost became effortless.
Yeah, like it's basically how it went. But hey, Jared, we reached an hour.
Yep.
Thank you so much for coming on, man. It
Hey,
was
absolutely, man.
really interesting conversation I had with you today, and hopefully we can have you back on again soon.
Certainly. I don't mind. This was
Awesome,
fun.
sweet. Thanks, man. All right.
All right.
This
Peace.
this has been the Joe Angelo Show, and we will catch you later. We're out.
All right, so like
What's
the
going on?
problem with airline food, why the fuck do they gotta change everything about it and make it so shitty whenever you're 1,000 feet in the air? Why don't they just like pre-cook it and serve you leftovers?
Yeah, just give me
Like it just
20 packets of peanuts.
it's just
You know what I mean?
give me the entire minibar. I'll just fucking teleport to my destination.
Just give me a little bottle of fucking Russian 40% diluted vodka, and I'll be good to go, man.
All right, cut it.